I call to order the March 25, 2013 regular meeting of the Lakewood City Council. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Murphy?
Here.
Kellen? Here. Wickman? Here. Quinn?
Here.
King? Wilson? Here. Barraway?
Here.
Johnson?
Here.
Hall? Coop? Here. Roybal?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. As always, I want to thank everyone for taking part in their local government, either by showing up live tonight in council chambers or by watching us at home on TV, live taped, or also on the website. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. First couple of items on the agenda tonight are award presentations. I would ask Ms. Greer to read the first one into the record as I move my way down to the podium.
Item 4, presentation, Solar Friendly Communities Award.
Okay, I would ask Eric Harris, Bill Clayton, and Rebecca Cantwell to come on down. I'm just going to turn it over to Bill.
Good evening. Mayor and Council, I'd like to introduce to you Rebecca Cantwell. She's the Senior Program Director for the Colorado Solar Energy Industries Association.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor Murphy and members of Council. This is a really exciting evening for me and for the rest of the Solar Friendly Communities team. Solar Friendly Communities is a wonderful partnership between local governments, the solar industry, and nonprofits. We're part of something that's really big and important. We're part of the National Sunshot Initiative. Lots of us are old enough to remember the moonshot when we set the goal of going to the moon and achieved our goal as a country. The Sunshot is a Department of Energy goal to bring the cost of solar energy down to be competitive with all other forms of energy by the end of this decade. It's a really ambitious goal, but Lakewood is leading the way at making it happen. So Solar Friendly Communities aims to make solar faster, easier, and more affordable for residents. So we reward cities like Lakewood that take the trouble to streamline processes and do things to make solar easier for residents. And I'm proud to say I have a plaque saying that Lakewood has achieved silver level recognition, earning 935 points out of a possible 1,600 to earn this designation. So, Mayor Murphy, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
And I have something else. My colleague Eddie Stern has a second award that he is going to bring to you. This is a street sign that is suitable for posting and hopefully a prominent location in Lakewood. Nice. Lakewood is the first Jefferson County community that we've so honored, but we hope that you will proudly display this, and we hope that this honor brings you both economic and environmental benefits.
Wow. Rebecca, thank you very much. This is very exciting. I accept this award on behalf of certainly Lakewood City Council, but most importantly on behalf of our staff and our internal committee for Sustainable Lakewood, our sustainability coordinator Eric Harris, Bill Clayton with our building department. And, we've done some things lately to incentivize solar type improvements in the city of Lakewood. So I accept this on behalf of all of those folks. And I would ask Bill, I think, to say a few words. Bill? Great sign. Thank you.
You bet. Well, thank you, Rebecca and Eddie. We really appreciate the help you gave us in getting through this process. It is wonderful to be recognized for the work that the city has done and for the processes that we have in place to help streamline all of our permits, not just the solar, but any kind of permit that we do within the city. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you also to Eric Harris, who I met on my very first day on the job and started working with Eric on this process. And so everyone in both departments has been very supportive of this work, and we're really pleased that it's come to this point and hope to continue the relationship and continue doing work for many years to come. So thank you all very much.
Thank you all.
Sure,
of course. Of course.
We face this way, everybody.
Lots of signs.
Quick break here.
Photo op break.
Come on in, everybody. Get in here. Where'd you go? Just tight. Just get in tight. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Appreciate it. Yeah, yeah.
Suitable for posting.
There you go. Got it.
That is more than just that's a real sign. I would ask the clerk to please read the next item into the record.
Item 5, presentation, awards to the Public Works from Colorado Chapter of American Public Works.
I would ask to start this presentation to invite my very good friend, Paul Heineman. Where's Paul? Paul is the Executive Director of the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District, an organization on whose board I sit, and one of the truly nice guys. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'm here today representing the Colorado chapter of the American Public Works Association. And once a year we have an awards banquet. And what that does is recognize public works agencies across the state on who excel at their jobs. Now, you all know that your public works department is number one in the state, and now you have proof that they are, because they got the top awards for 2 different categories for projects and programs. And I'd like to go ahead and read the first one, and this is it's under the category of Building Code Administration, Permitting, and Enforcement, and it's for the Certificate of Occupancy Assistance Program that you started. And what this was is completing a major project, as you all know, whether it be a commercial or an office or retail or multifamily project. There's a couple of things that the contractor is very concerned about. Now, the number one thing he's concerned about is the certificate of occupancy. But also associated with that, there's many other things that go along with that that are, you might call, special inspections and certifications and as-built and that kind of thing. And in the past, these other special inspections and that kind of thing sometimes fell by the wayside, and a temporary certificate of occupancy was given, and then, it just kind of went by the wayside and wasn't cleaned up. So you started a program that at the pre-construction conference, all these different people get together and talk about the different types of acceptances that need to be done for all of these projects. But then you follow it up. This program follows it up. 3 months before completion, they get together again, because you don't want to do it right at the very end of the project. So you started this project. And you've had 30 projects which have been done under this program, and it's just been a complete success, to where at the time a certificate of occupancy was issued, all these other certificates and inspections and special inspections that need to be done are completed at the same time, so you don't have these temporary certificate of occupancies, and that's really to be commended, and that can be transferred across the state, and many people will take your lead in this and follow that. Accepting that award today is Bill Clayton and Karen Phillips, and I believe they're behind me. Yes, here they are. And I think we have a plaque right behind. They want to make sure they get the right plaque. Okay, here we go. So on behalf of the American Public Works Association, the Colorado chapter, I'd like to present this award to you for your Public Works program, and it's for the Building Code Administration, Permitting, and Enforcement. And it's for your project, the Certificate of Occupancy Assistance Program. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And we'll do a photo op at the end of this next one. The next award was in the category of solid waste management, and it's for your Quayle Street Recycling Center. As you know, your recycling center has been in existence for a while, but back in 2011 you transformed it because there was a lot. People were delivering recyclables there, and maybe not knowing exactly where to deliver them, and trash was getting blown around, and sometimes some of your citizens even went over into an area where they shouldn't have been in the fuel center, and so anyway, so you went ahead. Well, I shouldn't say you. Your Public Works Department behind me started to reorganize the recycling center, and I'd like to mention that each month you get about 100 tons of waste that's delivered, and you get about 330 vehicles per day that show up to the site. So that's a lot of people that are using that recycling center. So obviously there's a need there for that. What you did is, what's your Public Works Department did is they organized the recycling facility with sorting availability, and they also have a container for unsorted recyclables, because that's always an issue. People show up and they just have a big pile of stuff, and now there's a spot that they can do that if they haven't pre-sorted it. You also have solar-powered compactors, which decrease the transportation costs. This is done by reducing volumes and decreasing the energy use. And then you also have some what they call green infrastructure out at the site, and what you've used is some porous asphalt pavement to where that when rainfall falls on the facility, it goes through this porous asphalt and is filtered. Your facility is open 7 days a week, which is makes a lot of citizens very happy that it's not just a 5 day a week. So in summary, the remodeled Quayle Street Recycling Center provides a safe, organized location where site users can sort the recyclables. Now, the center is very popular with citizens and businesses in Lakewood and contains innovative and sustainable features. And again, congratulations to your Public Works program. And I'd like to mention two people here. Pat Matthews and Brian Nielsen are going to accept the award. I'll just read it off here. It's for the solid waste management operations and for the City of Lakewood Quayle Street Recycling Center project. Congratulations. Anybody want to say anything?
Paul, thank you so much. I do want to mention one more person who's sitting here in the back row, hopefully like a proud papa, and that's our Director of Public Works, Jay Hutchinson. It's a big night for your department, so thank you. And I told a couple of people this in a meeting earlier today, but I happened to show up at the Quayle Street Recycling Center on a Sunday morning a couple of weeks ago to drop off some cardboard boxes. Brian was there on Sunday morning, just kind of checking to see how things were going. So this is a guy that takes ownership in that facility. So thank you all very, very much. One more round of applause. Will the clerk please read item 6 into the record?
Item 6, presentation, the Advisory Commission for an Inclusive Communities 2012 Annual Report.
And presenting will be Gay Dugan and Chuck Nichols. Welcome to both of you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Gay Dugan, and I am the chair of ACIC. 2012 was a productive year for the Advisory Commission for an Inclusive Community, commonly known as the ACIC. Each year, the ACIC is required to provide an annual report to the City Council. And this year, we would like to recap the progress that we made last year, as well as to let you know about our plans for the future. The City Council established the ACIC in 2007. It functions in an advisory role and involves citizens more directly in providing valuable input to the City Council. The ACIC is a volunteer commission that is made up of 30 Lakewood citizens. We have 3 officers and 27 committee members. The committee brings forth grassroots initiatives which they feel are important for consideration by City Council. Additionally, the commissioners receive assignments from the City Council to research specific issues or topics of interest to the community and to make recommendations regarding those issues for potential action. In 2012, the ACIC finished several projects and brought final recommendations to the City Council officers. Those included a recommendation that the city amend the city's door-to-door solicitation ordinance and consider establishing a residential maintenance code. ACIC also proposed 4 substantial water-saving initiatives. Additionally, the ACIC focused on the mayor's Lakewood Linked project, linking neighbors to neighbors, which leads us to the Snow Pals proposal. This brought about a way for Lakewood neighbors to help other neighbors who aren't able to shovel their sidewalks and driveways. And that came in pretty handy this past weekend. In an effort to learn more about the City of Lakewood, ACIC members visited several of the city facilities to include the Stone House and the Graham House. We also hosted several guest speakers, to include Congressman Ed Perlmutter, who discussed the state of the economy and the federal government, Sue DeMoore from GSA's Rocky Mountain region, who spoke about recycling and energy efficiencies, and Bill Marino, who presented information about the 40 West Arts and Colfax Business Improvement Districts. We also had several speakers from the city staff. Those included Brian Nielsen, who gave us an overview of the new Quail Street Recycling Center operations. Tom Sharkut and Melissa Carey, employees from the IT department, who provided an overview of the city's new website, which included translation and font size features that the ACIC recommended. We participated in many city functions. We provided assistance during the development of the Historic Master Plan and the Public Arts Master Plan, participated in the 2012 Sustainability Awards Selection Committee, and promoted the Colorado Municipal League's If I Were Mayor contest to Lakewood middle schools, which helped improve participation. Now I'll turn this over to Chuck Nichols.
Thank you, Gay. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I think you can probably guess who's who by the picture up there that you're looking at. Lori couldn't be here this evening. She's up in the hills someplace riding around on those long, skinny boards, so she won't be with us this evening. So we'll give her an absence nevertheless. We have some exciting news going on in the ACIC looking ahead to take a look into the future. As you can see, we've already been busy this year, and we will continue to do so. In addition to encouraging member education, We have had lots of guest speakers. We've learned a lot from listening to them. We are currently working on many new assignments, which I'll get to in just a moment. Some of these were assigned by you folks. So we've taken your advice and we've taken your counsel to heart. Some of these things are a day without hate, which I think you had a proclamation a month or so ago, whenever that was. We're going to be actively involved in that in late April. And so we are having T-shirts for sale, white T-shirts to take part in that. This is a citywide participation in conjunction with Jefferson County Schools. We had a challenge from you to research other municipalities to see what they are doing to have a code of conduct for their elected officers. So we are taking that under operation. We will also research and develop practices to promote civility in our civil government. When we are having speaking at city council meetings, at ward meetings, and other government functions. How do we treat each other during presentations and during speeches? Diversity education opportunities for community and staff, research and develop possible educational opportunities for the community, and staff will be inclusive in many areas such as ethnicity, race, culture, and one that's I'm very interested in is disabilities. How do we handle disability consideration in our city? And as part of our ambassador program, Gay touched on this, we are again promoting the If I Were Mayor essay contest for junior high students. So we have a chance for our students in Lakewood to take part in that. And we also support the city's Civics 101 program to learn how the city government functions. And last, I'd like to invite you to attend one of our monthly meetings on the third Wednesday of the month. The committee meetings meet at 5:30, and then the commission meets at 6:30. I think I skipped over one of the important points. Go back a couple of slides, will you, Margie? Yeah, here it is. I got it mixed up. Excuse me. Keep going. That one. This is a challenge that we started the year with to decrease the number of people that we had on the commission from 45 to 30. It makes for better functionality, more efficiency, better production. We had reduced the number of committees that we had. Remember, we used to have 8 standing committees. We cut it down to 3. We have a civic awareness committee headed by Stan, Linda. She didn't want to do this, but I'll make her do it anyway. Linda's the chairman of this, and she received 3 of the suggestions that you had to take care of. So she's got a full plate. Al Sear heads up our neighborhoods committee, our new neighborhoods committee, but Al couldn't be here tonight. And then also Shotke, I think you've met her at times. She's taking care of the sustainability part. So those are our 3 main overarching committees. But what we were trying to get with our graphic up there is you can see that they can be interlinked so that they can work together in more functionality. So that, I'm sorry I missed that slide, so we'll go on to the end. And now I'm going to go off script for a minute. Now, we wanted to recognize our leader, our director, our provocateur. All of these things that Margie does is just done an incredible job of helping us head up this ACIC. So Margie, on behalf of the ACIC Commission, thank you so much
Thank you
for everything that you do. We really appreciate your help.
that all of the caring volunteers make my job pretty easy.
Well,
Thank you.
I tried to sneak in here this evening with that flower pot, but she was standing back there.
She doesn't miss much.
She doesn't miss much. Nothing
I was
gets
just
by.
hoping it was for me.
Thank you, Margie.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gay and Chuck, what a great presentation. I know there's several other members of the Advisory Commission here tonight. Would you all stand, please? Or wave. Wave is good. Judy's on crutches, and I made her stand. That's really not very nice. You know, you guys do. This is a group of dedicated Lakewood residents, really committed to making this community a better place to live, and they perform an absolutely vital role. You've heard a little piece tonight from Chuck about the sort of evolution that this commission has gone through the last several years, and it's been an evolution in the interest of efficiency, as Chuck alluded to, and they do an amazing job. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for everything you do. Looking forward to another very productive year in 2013. So thanks. Let's give the entire commission a round of applause. Okay, will the clerk please introduce item 7?
Item 7, Resolution 2013-14, reappointing 3 members to the Lakewood Planning Commission.
And I will turn this over to the chair of our Council Screening Committee and Council President, Cindy Barraway.
Thank you, Mayor. It's with great pleasure that I announce that we're going to be reappointing the following individuals to the Lakewood Planning Commission. That's Karen Harrison as the Ward 5 representative. Henry Hollander is an at-large representative from Ward 3. Carrie Mesh does not appear to be in the audience tonight. Carrie Mesh has been the chair of the Planning Commission this past year, and we had a lot of folks to interview this time around. It was, some years we don't have any interest, and this year we had a lot of interest in the position. So we had 3 nights of interviews, and our incumbents were clearly the great candidates. We want to keep them on board at the Planning Commission. We look forward to another 4 years. Your terms will end on March 31st, 2017. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2013-14.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Certainly, as an ex-Planning Commission member, I very much appreciate what you do as council's advisors on the very critical area of land use. So we know sometimes that's not easy. So thank you very much for what you do. With that, please cast your votes. And I have a new screen here, so hang on just a sec. There we go. And passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Hooray! All right. Will the clerk please read item 8 into the record?
Item 8, Resolution 2013-15, appointing and reappointing members to the Lakewood Board of Appeals.
And again to Councilor Barraway.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, this is another time where we had a lot of folks to interview as well for this particular position on the Board of Appeals. I don't see J. Andrew Guerrera in the audience tonight. I'm not missing him. But Randall Ritchie is here tonight. There he is. So we're going to the motion is to reappoint J. Andrew Guerrera and to appoint Randall Ritchie to the Board of Appeals. We really do appreciate your interest in serving on the Board of Appeals and appreciate the time that you spent with us during the interview process, as Mr. Ritchie had interviewed once before. So we really do appreciate that. And your term will start April 1st, 2013, provided everybody approves this motion, and will end on March 31st, 2016. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2013-15.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? And again, thank you very much for your willingness to serve. Please cast your votes. And it passes unanimously. Thank you.
Do we clap? We don't clap? I know.
Clap. You can start the clapping. Focused on this new screen tonight, sorry. All right, thank you again. This is the This is the portion of the meeting where the public is invited to address City Council on items that do not appear on the agenda. All comments should be directed to City Council. I think I'll skip the portion about asking for decorum in the chambers tonight. And just remind everyone that there is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. And there are some lights on the podium. It will be green the first 2.5 minutes, at which point it will turn yellow. And when it turns red, that means your 3 minutes are up, and we'd ask you to conclude your comments. We have 2 folks who have indicated a desire to speak by signing up, and after that, we'll just open it up to the floor. Dennis Klimke is the first, and Charlie Abel is the second. Klimko, I believe. I'm sorry. My mistake. Come on down, sir. Looks like you're a neighbor of mine up on Dover.
Mr. Mayor and
welcome.
I've been working with the city the last several years. I'm a builder-developer and been buying properties within the city of Lakewood and putting in new housing. And every once in a while, I'll run into land that I'm buying. And with the new zoning laws, we run into problems with, it's like zoned for a particular property we've had now since last September. It's zoned for a multifamily fourplex. And when we submit our plans, with the different things we come up with items like the garage door is too big and there's too much concrete on the property under the new building codes. And the new codes and everything else is working good. I've worked with Bill and everybody in the city for quite a while, and that's not the issue, but we keep running into little problems like this project here, and I've been stuck for 9 months, and we have a garage door and too much concrete on the ground that I can't go forward with. And I'm building in neighborhoods where they're somewhat blighted, and what's next door to me is not like if you take a new project like Belmar or Soterra. All these things work good in a new area, but when you're retrofitting, we run into stumbling blocks, and I'm trying to find a way to get things moving a little faster without having to go through meeting and then ask for variances and talk to some of my council people about what their stance would be. I think a lot of people like to see these things go forward, but I'm trying to find a way or some help in how we could do this a little faster and still promote the city. I don't want to sound greedy that I'm buying these properties, but this is for other people that would come in and buy other properties, and people like yourselves that might own a property and sell it, and it's zoned for something, but yet you can't quite build it because it doesn't meet some design criteria. So somewhere in between, I'm just trying to get more involved with doing this and going forward to make this a better city. And yes, I live close to you, and we try to do it right.
Thank you.
Any questions?
We'll address it after we complete public comment. And I do appreciate your investment in Lakewood, and we'll discuss a little bit further when public comment is closed tonight.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Abel, come on down.
Bless you. A couple of weeks ago, I addressed council about my concern that some city council people believed there was no graffiti problem in the city of Lakewood. Whereupon one of your number, Mr. Quinn, took me to task, saying that was an absurd thing to say, that no council member would ever say there's not a graffiti problem in Lakewood. The council member in question was not part of the conversations I had with 5 council people off and on during the retreat in Colorado Springs, or the 3 senior staff people I talked to in the lobby at your meeting place in Colorado Springs. But private conversations aside, after those remarks following my comments, I got phone calls saying that one of the councilors in Ward 3, Councilwoman King, had said at a number of sites, including a Ward 3 meeting, that she didn't believe there was a graffiti problem in Lakewood. And then following up with an open records request, I got from Kim Wonders of Margie Greer's staff a copy of an email from Council President Barroway to Council Member Pete Roybal. The first sentence of it says, "With all due respect, I do not see a graffiti problem in our city." I appreciate that everyone has their own opinion of these things. I don't appreciate that when I stand here and cite what is apparently the truth, someone flies at me saying that my comments are absurd. So, enough said. Y'all have a good evening.
Thanks, Charlie. Anyone else? Come on down.
Hi, I'm Katie Owens, and I live in a neighborhood a couple blocks away from the new Oak Street station. And I'm very, very excited, looking forward to it opening and being able to walk a couple blocks, go downtown, have dinner, and go over to Red Rocks Community College. I can even get to my workplace by just walking down to the light rail station. However, I'm very concerned about the fact that if you are walking to the Oak Street station, the lighting, once you leave the actual station and you have to walk along Oak Street, either north to Colfax or south, it's really awful. It's very, very dark there. It doesn't seem safe at all to me. And I'm very concerned that it's just a very ripe place for crime for anybody who's gone downtown, anybody who has worked late at night, coming home 8 or 8:30 at night. Rami was nice enough to meet me there one evening with her husband, and we walked. It's almost 2 blocks to Colfax, and I hope we can do something about it. I have talked to or emailed 5 different people in Lakewood now, and I was told by I think it's Ben Waldman with the planning. I don't know if he's with
It's
planning.
with traffic, but yeah.
Okay, and he said he did drive over there and that the lighting was within guidelines, and I don't know exactly what the guidelines are, but it truly is not safe. And it's close enough that I would like to ask everybody here to go over there some night around 9 o'clock and see for yourself. I know Karen indicated she would. And it's compounded by the fact that on one side there's a vacant lot, and honestly, there's a lot of trash, and there's some grocery carts in there, and so you kind of wonder who's been. It's just not a safe place, and I know there's some limitations because on the west side of the street, it is a car lot, and it's private property, and I know Lakewood has no control over that, but it's a short distance, and I just hope. I really do think something bad is going to happen. And I know that there is going to be development there in the next couple of years, but I don't think we should wait a couple of years. And there are 3 neighborhoods that are within walking distance, and I know most of my neighbors are really looking forward to walking down. It seems silly to drive 2 or 3 blocks to the station when you can walk it. So hopefully, and I really would ask that you drive by there and actually get out and walk. And hopefully there's going to be an immediate an answer that we can do something sooner rather than later. Okay?
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. With that, I will close public comment. I think we can address. We had 3 public comments tonight. We can address each of them. Ramey, thanks for taking that walk with Katie. I know that in terms of first of all, development there, you alluded to that. There's really good news, I think, short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Short-term, we know about the Village at Oak Station project. That's going to take up part of that old Target site when they get started. 278 kind of higher-end apartments. We just recently, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, had an Urban Land Institute it's called a TAP panel, but it's a panel of experts that was focused on that Oak Street area. And for those of us, our planning director, Travis Parker, sent us the video link to it. It was really fascinating. And there are some challenges, but there are also some real opportunities there. You alluded to that Dodge family parcel and some of the other things that are there, but there were some very interesting recommended strategies for midterm and long term. So in terms of the short-term lighting problem, we'll continue to take a look at that along with our partners at Excel. That's right, and there's a project going in at 11th and Oak, a residential project too. So there's a lot happening all along the light rail corridor, but particularly right there at Oak Street. But those are well taken comments, Katie. Thank you. Mr. Abel has already left, so I don't.
One comment about that?
Sure, of course.
I thought what was interesting about Mr. Abel's comment, and when he quoted my comment, is he did not put it in context as to what I was responding to. I was responding to an email I received from Councilmember Pete Roybal that, in very large letters, said that there was a graffiti problem and cited some statistics that were not showing that there's a graffiti problem in terms of that it's increasing. The numbers actually show that the graffiti incidents in the city of Lakewood are decreasing, and I think it's up by 50% in the city of Lakewood. So my comments were not presented to you in context as to what they were responding to. Graffiti is a thousands of years old problem. If you go to Pompeii, you'll find graffiti on the walls of Pompeii that were from when Pompeii was really a city. We can't always control youth and what they want to do, or anybody else that decides they need to deface something. But in terms of trying to control the issue of graffiti, in the city of Lakewood, the graffiti has been decreasing in terms of the amount that we have seen in our city, and we are responding to it quite quickly and rapidly in the city of Lakewood.
And I'll just echo that we actually got a report just this afternoon from our Deputy City Manager, Nanette Nealon, and it's on graffiti over the last 5 years, and this is a public document. But, and look, any graffiti is too much graffiti, but as Councilor Barraway pointed out, it has declined each of the last 5 years, well, each of the last 4 years, 2008 through 2012, the combined decline is over 50% in graffiti reports. There's another very interesting paragraph here I'm just going to read really quickly, and that's graffiti eradication, getting rid of graffiti, which is also improving at a rate of more than 50%, excuse me. The cleanup of graffiti on public property is primarily the responsibility of the city's probation department. Using individuals sentenced to community service, the program's coordinator, Shane Littleton, runs a weekly print of graffiti reports, then responds to see that the graffiti is removed. Mr. Littleton estimates that approximately 6 days per month are spent cleaning up graffiti with crews of up to 10 community service workers. And then it lists the number of so-called tags that are listed below. Since 2007, graffiti removal, like reported graffiti crime, has dropped over 50%. So again, any graffiti is too much, but we're really moving in the right direction through a coordinated effort. And please remember, if you see graffiti, call it in. Anyone else? All right, and finally, Mr. Klimko, again, we appreciate your investments in Lakewood. I think towards the end of your talk, you were talking about the design standards. It's not so much the new zoning ordinance, which went into effect. Yeah, right, April 1st, exactly. But some of those design standards with garage doors and whatnot. I know you, as you mentioned, you've been working with Mr. Clayton, and we'll continue to work with you. But again, we appreciate your investment in Lakewood, and you made a very critical point. You're investing in some neighborhoods that really can really use the investment. So we appreciate that. Thank you. I understand. He said he wants to continue to do so. Fair point. All right. I'm sorry, Pete. I got a really tiny little screen here, so I can barely see this. Go ahead.
Mayor, I want to thank you for that report. I think it's a very good report. I want to thank you for acknowledging graffiti. We have graffiti, and we're doing something about it, and I do appreciate it. The people in Ward 3 appreciate it. We're still struggling with our businesses that are in Ward 3 that are trying to survive. Is there anything we can do to help our businesses in Ward 3, especially down Sheridan? We can help maybe we can put our minds together and come up with a solution to help the businesses in Ward 3 take down the graffiti or do something to help them out. For example, some of the cost for commercial business to take down a one piece of graffiti is about $100. And if they get tagged 3, 4, 5 times a month, that's $500 off their bottom line. And that happens every month or every other month. But the bottom line is, it's costing our businesses money. Is there anything we can do to help?
We'll have that. We'll continue to have that conversation as an entire council. As I just mentioned, we have a pretty streamlined graffiti removal process right now with the crews who are made up of offenders, and I think that's a pretty doggone good system.
And I think it is, and I thank you for that.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else on public comments on public comment, so to speak? All right. With that, we will move on to the consent agenda. The use of the consent agenda is made to expedite council action. It contains both resolutions and first reading ordinances. Resolutions are items of a routine nature that the members of the public will have an opportunity to comment on in a moment. First reading ordinances appear on the agenda only for the purpose of setting future public hearing dates and ordering the newspaper publication of the proposed ordinance. Therefore, no public comment will be heard this evening on those first reading ordinances. There will be an opportunity for the public to speak on those during the second reading, which will be scheduled, the public hearing during the second reading, which is scheduled tonight by City Council. Any council member may request an item on the consent agenda be removed for separate discussion and action under general business. Will the clerk please read the items on the consent agenda into the record?
The consent agenda consists of items 10 through 17 inclusive. Item 10, Resolution 2013-16, accepting bargain and sale deeds from Kevin Edward Kurtz, Sharon Marie Kurtz, and David Wayne Kurtz, conveying parcels needed to clear title to the right-of-way for South Depew Street. Item 11, Resolution 2013-17, accepting a treasurer's deed from Jefferson County conveying a parcel of land needed to clear title for the right-of-way of West Florida Avenue. Item 12, Resolution 2013-18, accepting a treasurer's deed from Jefferson County conveying parcels needed for stormwater drainage for the Upper Weir Gulch floodplain. Item 13, Resolution 2013-19, authorizing a revocable license agreement between the City of Lakewood and the Jefferson County Emergency Communication Authority, allowing certain encroachments associated with a fiber optic communication network system within various city-owned properties and rights-of-way. Item 14, Ordinance 2013-8, declaring the intent of the City of Lakewood to acquire interests in property as needed for public purposes for the construction of a roundabout and sidewalk improvements at West 14th Avenue and Lamar Street, authorizing negotiations with property owners, acceptance of conveyance instruments, and condemnation of real property interests. Item 15, Ordinance 2013-9, declaring the intent of the City of Lakewood to acquire interests in property as needed for public purposes for the relocation of traffic signals to Lamar Street and Harlan Street along West Colfax Avenue, authorizing negotiations with property owners, acceptance of conveyance instruments, and condemnation of real property interests. Item 16, accepting the minutes of the Advisory Commission for an Inclusive Communities Executive Commission meeting of January 2nd, 2013, and their full commission meeting January 16th, 2013, and the Board of Adjustment meeting February 5th, 2013. And item 17, approving the minutes of the regular City Council meeting of February 25th, 2013.
Thank you. I will now open the public comment period on the proposed resolutions on the consent agenda, the first 4 items. No one has indicated a desire to speak by signing up on the roster. Would anyone in chambers wish to comment on any of those proposed resolutions? Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion, and I'm ready for a motion on the consent agenda.
Mayor Murphy, I move for approval of the council minutes for acceptance of the minutes of boards and commissions, order all ordinances introduced on first reading to be published in the Denver Post, with public hearings set for the date included in the ordinance, and for adoption of resolutions, all of which are included in consent agenda items introduced into the record by the city clerk.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, please cast your votes. And it passes unanimously. Tonight there are no second reading ordinances, so we'll move on to general business. Anything, Margie?
None.
Ms. Hodson, anything under executive report? Sorry, I should have asked you before the meeting. All right, on to mayor and city council reports. I just have one item. It's with great sadness that we pass along the news of the passing away of Bill Wilson. Bill was a longtime community advocate. Bill was a member of Lakewood City Council back in the early days, back in the early 70s, and he most recently served on the Lakewood Building Authority. Obviously, a stalwart member of the O'Kane Park Neighborhood Association, Scott, and Kathy Hodson and I had the opportunity to sit with Bill. I don't know, a year or so ago. We taped a session for Channel 8 on sort of the founding of Lakewood, and Bill, along with Carl New and a couple of the others, were the folks that really regaled us with stories from the old days. So Bill truly was one of our founding fathers, and he will be missed. I see a note here from Melissa Cheatham, his granddaughter, who we met at an event not that long ago. So we pass along our condolences to the family, but great man. He'll be truly missed. Diana, anything?
No report.
Cindy?
No report.
Pete?
No report.
Thank you. Scott?
I'd just like to echo your words, Mayor, about Bill Wilson. Being a neighbor of mine, I was able to get some of his wisdom when we would sit down and talk about city issues. And he is one of the people that's really responsible for the way you see Lakewood now. In those founding fathers back then, that I could go on quite a while for Mr. Wilson. He will be missed, and condolences to his family.
Thanks, Scott. Councilor Paul. Councilor Johnson.
May I just take a minute to thank Jay Hutchinson and his department for the awesome job you do cleaning our streets in these storms. Thank you.
Councilor King? No report. Councilor Quinn?
Just very briefly, Councilor Barroway, Councilor Coop, and myself attended a presentation last week by Transportation Solutions called The Road Ahead, Transit Stations Becoming Places. It was very interesting to look at what some other communities are doing as far as their transit stations and development around those areas. And so it was a very good presentation, and I think we definitely got some good ideas out of it and some more background. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Wickman.
No report. I just wanted to second Ramey's comment. Thanks to the Public Works Department for doing a great job of cleaning the snow up on Green Mountain.
Thank you. Councilor Killen?
No report.
Margie?
No report.
Paul, anything? Kathy? All right. Find my gavel, and we are adjourned at 7:53 p.m.